I've got a pretty weird question. If aliens exist, where are they? Seriously. The universe has billions of planets. Some of them are probably way more comfortable than Earth. Better weather, less traffic, maybe even fewer meetings that should have been emails. And yet, after decades of searching, we've found absolutely nothing. No signals, no spaceships, no alien influencer posting. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to conquer a galaxy in 10 easy steps. Nothing. Just silence. And that's really strange because according to pretty much every calculation scientists have, we should have met somebody by now. So what's going on? Maybe aliens don't exist, but there's another possibility. A much stranger one. A much scarier one. Aliens do exist, and there's a reason we can't see them. And trust me, that's way more terrifying than being alone in the universe. But here's the part that confuses me. Scientists don't actually think the idea of alien life is crazy. In fact, many of them think the opposite. If life appeared on Earth, then there's a pretty good chance it appeared somewhere else too. So the question isn't, do aliens exist? The question is, if they do exist, where are they? That's the exact question physicist Enrico Fermi asked back in 1950. He looked at all the stars out there, all the planets that could exist, and then he asked a very simple question. Where is everybody? The problem is, he didn't have an answer, and more than 70 years later, we still don't have one. But there is a theory, a pretty famous one. And honestly, it's a little terrifying. It's called the Great Filter. The idea behind the Great Filter is surprisingly simple. For a civilization to spread across the galaxy, a lot of things have to go right. Life has to appear. Life has to survive. It has to become more complex. It has to evolve intelligence. It has to develop technology. And eventually, it has to avoid destroying itself long enough to reach the stars. The problem is that we don't know which of these steps is the difficult one. Maybe life itself is incredibly rare. Maybe intelligent life almost never evolves. Or maybe civilizations regularly become advanced and then disappear before they ever get the chance to explore the galaxy. Yeah, if that's true, it would explain the silence. Because a galaxy filled with dead civilizations looks exactly the same as an empty one. And that's the truly unsettling part. We don't know where the filter is. Maybe humanity has already passed it. Or maybe the hardest step is still ahead of us. And if that's the case, we might have a problem. Because if the filter is behind us, that's great news. It means we've already survived the hardest part. But if the filter is still ahead of us, that's a completely different story. Because somewhere in the future, there might be a challenge that most civilizations never overcome. Maybe it's nuclear war. Maybe it's environmental collapse. Maybe it's a technology so powerful that it ends up destroying the civilization that created it. The truth is, nobody knows. And that's exactly what makes the idea so disturbing. Because every time we ask, where are all the aliens? We might actually be asking a different question, a much darker question. What happened to them? What happened to them? Well, that's assuming something happened at all. Maybe we're making the same mistake Enrico Fermi made. Maybe we're assuming that advanced civilizations should be easy to find, that they should leave giant structures across the galaxy, massive fleets of spaceships, or obvious signs that scream, hey, we're over here. But why would they? Think about human technology. The more advanced it becomes, the smaller and less noticeable it gets. Computers used to fill entire buildings. Now they fit in our pockets. Maybe truly advanced civilizations follow the same pattern. Maybe they don't build giant monuments in space. Maybe they don't broadcast messages in every direction. Maybe they're simply too advanced for us to recognize. And that leads to a strange possibility. What if we've been looking for aliens out there when we should have been looking down here? Because for decades, some people have wondered whether evidence of alien visitors might already exist on Earth. Not in the form of crashed spaceships, but hidden inside some of history's greatest mysteries. The pyramids, Stonehenge, the Nazca lines, ancient stories about beings descending from the sky. Now, to be clear, there is no scientific evidence that aliens built any of these things. Most historians and archaeologists agree they were built by humans. But the fact that these theories refuse to disappear raises an interesting question. Why are so many people willing to believe them? Maybe it's because deep down, we find it difficult to accept just how extraordinary human beings can be. Or maybe a small part of us still wonders whether someone got here first. Not because we have proof. We don't. But because the universe is so unimaginably large that it's hard to believe we're the first ones to ask these questions. Maybe somewhere out there, another civilization is looking up at the stars right now, wondering if they're alone, wondering if anyone else has ever existed, wondering if someone came before them, just like we are. And until we find an answer, the greatest mystery in the universe might not be where the aliens are. It might be whether we've been looking for them in the right place all along.